as you are, beautiful and free. Leave everything aside. Just be, just be.
Under thy great sky, in solitude and silence, with a humble heart, shall I stand before thee face to face, day after day. O Lord of my life, shall I stand before thee face to face. Shiva, 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 Maha, 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 Deva, 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 Hara, 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 Shiva, 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 Maha, 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 Deva, 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 Hara, 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 oh, oh, oh. In this wondrous world of thine, violent with toil and with struggle among the hurrying crowds, shall I stand before thee face to face with folded hands, O Lord of all worlds, shall I stand before thee face to face. Sing with us. Hara, 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 Shiva, 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 Maha, 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 Deva, 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 Hara.
Dayo Shanti, Antariksham Shanti, Prithvi Shanti.
Shiva never liked it when we discussed him. We didn't want to be talked about. So I'm not going to talk about him, I'm going to talk to him right now. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. A paragon of brilliance and an elf. That's who you were. A person of literally perambulating blessing. To me, to my children, to our interfaith community, and whoever you met. You were so devoted to the Parliament, and you, through our work in our local Parliament group, we came to understand Vivekananda and the Vedanta Society and to cherish it and to actually be in touch with Vivekananda's teachings in a visceral way. And many of us, when we had challenges in our organization and when we felt that we were stymied or paralyzed, we would come back to our compass north, which was Vivekananda's teachings and the reason for the Parliament. I remember when I arranged for Shiva, you came to Guadalajara and you entranced everybody. You made friends with all the Mexicans at the conference and all the indigenous people, and then in the evenings, you remember how we would sit and debrief at the local cafe, and you would tell us in your Irish brogue jokes about the McFerrin brothers, the twins, and it was always with you from the ridiculous to the sublime, and thank God for that. When we tried to bring up something troubling with you, you would always raise your hand and say, "No, sister, I don't want to hear about it." And we would have to work out the details. But it didn't matter because you always had your eye on the prize, Shiva, wherever you were. You knew that to live in a world of peaceful coexistence, what we would have to give up ourselves. You were a great cheerleader. You would call people suddenly in the middle of the day and say, "I just want you to know what you're doing is wonderful. Thank you. I love you." And then hang up. Do you remember that? How many of you had calls like that? when I released the first album for my musical, you were ecstatic because you loved music and the arts. And so you were getting all these albums to give to your friends. You were singing the songs. You were you understood that those of us who were involved in the arts, we had a special way to reach people and to reach their hearts through music. And you did that so well with your guitar and with your amazing songs from the South, bluegrass and whatever else you had up your sleeve. I want to reiterate what was in Andre's letter in order to finish talking about you, Shiva, because more than anything else, I remember when you would come to the phone and you would say, "How can I serve?" And it occurred to me that if every person in the world arose in the morning with that question on their lips, we would have the world that we dream of having. And you made that thought possible, Shiva. And now I'm going to sing a song that actually our talented Quincy Coleman recorded for me in the studio, but I was requested to sing it a cappella because it would be more direct from me. This is a song called "When It's Time for Me to Go," and it was written about 4 months ago when all of us were experiencing the death of loved ones and watching people around us die and trying to make sense of us and maybe even coming to terms with our own mortality. And today, as I praise you, Shiva, I'm hoping that you've been there to welcome our beloved Joseph Prabhu, who just died yesterday, who was co-chair of the parliament. So Shiva, this song now is for you. May it go directly into your heart. When it's time for me to go, don't mourn for me. Let me rise, let me soar, let me fly. When it's time for me to go, don't cry for me, for it's just fare thee well, not goodbye. When it's time for me to go, don't hold me back. We will meet once again as before. When it's time for me to go, I want you to know I will love you forevermore. Death is cruel, people say it will take you away from the ones who love you the most. It may come any time without reason or rhyme. We won't even know when it's close. When it's time for me to go, don't grieve for me. Set me down, set me loose, set me free. When it's time for me to go, don't weep for me. It's my time, it's my soul's destiny. When it's time for me to go, don't hold me back. I'm being called to my celestial home. When it's time for me to go, I want you to know you'll never be alone. Death is cruel, people say. It will take you away from the ones who love you the most. It can come any time without reason or rhyme. We won't even know when it's close. When it's time for me to go, don't mourn for me. Let me rise, Let me soar, let me fly. When it's time for me to go, don't cry for me, for it's just fare thee well, not goodbye. Rest in peace, Shiva. Alecha hashalom. Alecha hashalom. Alecha hashalom.
Peace is in the heavens. Peace is on the earth. Peace is in the waters, the herbs, the grass, the trees are all full of peace. The bright shining ones are peaceful. Everything in the universe is pervaded by peace. May this eternal, universal peace enter our soul and being. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.